Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Game of Thrones Free-for-All AI Deathmatch. This is part 2 of the, redesigned and remade series. In the previous episode, we basically went over the introduction, or rather, went over the introduction of all of the, various houses. We have one, house 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 great houses, and if you want an introduction, I kind of went into them previously. Let me just make sure that we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do. So we have 10 great houses that are vying for control of Westeros, with, of course, King's Landing being the end goal. So, as kind of like a wrap-up of the last episode, for those of you guys who have not seen it and want to be up to date, besides the introduction of the various houses, the houses have began to expand. Of course, there have been no wars as of yet, but due to the fact that this particular map is rather small, we should see some wars for luxury resources beginning to take place very, very soon, and various alliances starting to begin. So let's go ahead and start with where we left off. Of course, in the last episode, we left off with Robb Stark, the King of the North, being in the lead quite substantially, at least in terms of score, mainly from the population of his capital of Winterfell. He has a very, very large city, thanks in part to, his monopoly on ancient ruins in the areas. Going into Westeros, main area, it's a complete clusterfuck right now. I mean, we see a lot of different particular factions vying for control of different areas. And before I even say anything, it looks like Petyr Baelish has declared war on the Lannisters, led by Tywin. So Tywin and Petyr Baelish are at war. Again, for those of you who are not in the know, this is red versus blue over here, or red versus, teal, the light blue, the French blue, as it is in, the actual Civilization 5 game. So let's go ahead and watch what happens in this conflict between Baelish and the Baratheons. Or, sorry, the Lannisters is what I mean. And also, it looks like the Tullys have also declared war on the Lannisters as well. Not a lot of love for the Lannisters, it would seem, in this particular universe. So the Lannisters are in a dual front war between, again, Petyr Baelish and Edmure Tully of River Run. And it looks like the Crag might be the first, victim of kind of Vale and Riverland aggression. Of course, by Vale, I do refer to Petyr Baelish. Although it would seem like Baelish is kind of milking this opportunity to allow, Edmure of the River Run, or of Edmure Tully of the Riverlands, to kind of take as much damage as possible by kind of absorbing the Lannister army in these mountains down here. This will give, Petyr Baelish an opportunity to kind of backstab the Lannisters when they are weaker. So, again, as I mentioned in the last episode, the ages are a bit different in this particular mod, and again, the mod will be available in the description box below. But instead of, Renaissance and Classical Era, we got the Age of Heroes, the Age of Valyria, we've got, the Age of the Seven Kingdoms. They're different in various times, and I believe that it's capped right before the Renaissance Era, at least I hope it is. So, again, this war looks like the Lannisters are in the Riverlands right now, kind of pillaging the Tully territory. And the Tullys themselves are right outside of the Lannister cities of Castle Rock and Ashmark, although we don't really see too much action as of right now in terms of territory changing place and things like this. Going to the south, we see that the Dornish kingdom of... Dorne. It's a bit... I can't just see the Dornish kingdom of, whatever. Dorne basically is expanding incredibly fast. We see that after Lemonwood, they've decided to set up 2 settlers over here in God's Grace and in Saltshore, which is very interesting. Of course, they have the, the entirety of this peninsula under their control now, as nobody without military access will be able to pass through these kind of choke points that they've set up. So, over here in the Stormlands, we see that Renly is still very unsure of where to put their settler, or his settler. And over here on Dragonstone, nobody has left the island yet. So that's very interesting. Let's go and continue to see what happens in this war. It looks like Petyr Baelish is sending out his army right now to meet up with the Lannisters outside of the cursed city of Harrenhal. Very, very interesting. So maybe something will happen in this war. My guess is probably not. Again, as I rapped on the AI quite a bit in the last episode by saying how bad the Civilization AI is, sometimes it's pretty good. I mean, sometimes if you're actually on kind of like a continent, the AI is actually quite competent in terms of continental conquest. It's just when you get into like intercontinental warfare with naval units that becomes a problem. So Baelish has made peace with the Lannisters, but the Tullys are still at war. So again, I think just a lot of status quo is going to happen here. I don't really see like any territory changing hands just yet in this particular episode. But very interestingly enough, as with the Riverlands, the Martells, or rather the Tyrells, I should say. Is it Martell or Tyrell? I completely forgot. I think it's the Tyrells. Like, yeah, okay, I think it's the Tyrells. They've made another city over here called Tumbleton, the southwest of Deepwood Motte, and to the northeast of the Twins, of course, in the possession of Walder Frey. So they're a bit further away from the other Tyrell, I guess, holdings. We'll see how that goes for them. I think it's going to be a bit of a bad idea. As soon as you kind of make your empire spread about, it kind of increases the chance that you're going to get, sliced and diced by the various powers that surround you. So another interesting development is that the Iron Islands have expanded to the northeast of Lordsport into the Ten Towers region, which is also kind of in the north. So the north is being colonized, much like the New World and other games like Europa Universalis. This is kind of like the Wild West, where anything goes. Of course, we'll see if Robb Stark is friendly enough to these colonization attempts on his own territory. Excuse me. So, ending the turn, we're going to go and see what happens between this war with the Riverlands and the Lannisters. My guess, again, is that nothing too interesting is going to happen. And, of course, they've already gone ahead and already made peace with each other. And our first religion has been founded, which is also a Game of Thrones / A Song of Ice and Fire religion. Very interesting. The city of Winterfell is the holy city for the old gods. Of course, I kind of went into the religion in the last episode in terms of, what, for example, they believe over here in Dragonstone with Stance Baratheon. They believe in the Fire Lord. In the north, they believe in something completely different. They believe in the old gods, which are kind of like the gods that the first men worshipped when they arrived here, I guess, from the north, which was before the wall was constructed, of course. And they believe the old gods, their belief in the old gods is quite a bit different than, I believe, the rest of kind of like the standard religion of the Western Kingdoms, which is kind of like a polytheistic hybrid religion where they believe kind of like there's like the soldiers, there's like the priest, there's like the mother, there's like the stranger, and they're all kind of like pantheons that they worship variously. So, interesting development is that Mance Rayder has declared war on Castle Black. Of course, the endgame thing says Lotusport, but that's just because I renamed the city with IGE. But as you can see, it is Castle Black. So let's go and see what happens. Again, sorry for my sniffles. Got a bit of a bad case of allergies today. Which is, of course, nothing new if you guys have followed my channel previously. So here we go. Castle Black looks like it's about to be taken over, which is a shame. I thought that the Castle Black could probably take a few more hits than that. But Mance Rayder is very keen on getting to the south of this wall. So let's go ahead and see how this development goes over here. Of course, Mance Rayder can't really commit to attacking Castle Black, it would seem, as the combined forces of the Night's Watch archers on top of the wall, combined with kind of like the bombardment of the actual castle itself, are keeping Mance's soldiers at bay. We'll see, of course, if Mance is able to take the city. He's almost there. And Robb has declared war on the Iron Islands, where she's probably going to try to take the Ten Towers and Lordsport. And if he does, I'm afraid that the North might get incredibly powerful, as they're already incredibly powerful to begin with. So I'm interested to see how these units attack the Northern Direwolf pack. In fact, let's go ahead and turn on something really, really quickly. Where is it? It is Quick Combat. I would really like to see if they have an attack animation. Maybe they don't, maybe they do. We're going to find out. So, of course, over here we see a battle outside of the iron kind of possession of the Ten Towers. But I'm thinking that Robb Stark will not be, put off by this. I think he'll probably be able to take these cities. So over here at Castle Black, of course, we see Mance's armies laying siege to the city. And to the attack, I don't even think that the wolves, the direwolves, have attack animations. I'm pretty sure they don't. And of course, very strategically, Castle Black has killed one of the warriors outside of the Night's Watch. Very, very good. So over here, we see one of the last direwolves has been picked off by the city of Lordsport. And Castle Black is once again under siege. Although very stupidly, again, it seems like Mance is not putting his warriors right next to the city in order to take it for himself. And it seems like Mance is also running out of units, unless if he commits all of his units from the north as well. Down here, outside of Lordsport and 10 Towers, again, it seems like Robb is getting his ass kicked. And over here in Castle Black, once again, the city itself is very, very low. In fact, the city itself might be taken in the next round. And look at this, the direwolves do attack. That's so, so cool. But they're not very good, which is unfortunate. You know, I kind of expected more from them, to be quite honest with you guys. So over here, outside of Castle Black, again, the siege is on. Let's keep continuing here. And the battle for the Iron Islands possessions within the north is still on. Of course, here comes the warriors to kind of take out this dire wolf, who is destroying these warriors, but eventually succumbed to its wounds. So over here at Castle Black, under attack by warriors, not conquered just yet. And we've got another war currently going on right now. We've got the war between Renly and Stannis, and Peter Baelish and Stannis. It looks like Stannis is in a very bad position. And I say this because they only have 2 cities and absolutely no military. It should be very easy for Peter Baelish to take over the new city of Driftmark that belongs to Stannis Baratheon. Of course, while we were busy in the north watching the combat and the fighting and the war, Peter Baelish has expanded to the east of Harrenhal and to the immediate north of King's Landing. Of course, the city of King's Landing itself is being surrounded now. Very interesting. Going over to the west, it seems like Admiral Tully of the Riverlands is content on just building a very big military and staying with 2 cities, which are both, again, rather distanced between themselves. And the Lannisters, I guess, are recovering from their war, which went rather disastrously for them, although they didn't lose any territory. And Dorne, we're looking at some military buildup over here of Dorne. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Dorne declared war on either Highgarden or on Storm's End very, very soon. But I digress. Let's get back into the war between the North and the Iron Islands. Of course, we can get more into the war between Castle Black and Mance Rayder as well, if Mance Rayder is able to kind of field more units against the castle itself, which it looks like he's not. He really needs to send more units if he wants to take the city successfully. But it's nice to see that the Castle Black is defending itself. You know, it's not just a pushover, which is a good thing to see. So, speaking of Stannis, so far so good for him. Although he definitely lacks military units, we don't really see very much in the way of, you know, any enemies kind of taking him out as of yet. So, again, let's go back to the north and in the turn. So again, it seems very weird that Robb Stark is just dancing around, taking casualties outside of, you know, the Greyjoy holdings. Because if Robb really wanted to kind of commit to taking a city, he definitely could. I mean, we see that he had, I guess, 2 direwolf packs. He had 2 spearmen, or rather, he had 3 spearmen, and he has 2 archers. So he could definitely have taken the 10 Towers if he was a human player. But alas, such as it is with the AI of the AI nations here. So, again, ending the turn as we watch Robb Stark getting destroyed here by Balon Greyjoy. And I'm a bit surprised, honestly. You know, again, Balon Greyjoy is absolutely mopping up the north in, you know, Stark blood. It's everywhere. But here comes the Starks. Let's see if they're going to be able to kind of hold off on this offensive here. And let me know, guys, in the comments below if you guys do like me having the combat animations on. I know it makes it a little bit, you know, I guess more realistic in terms of the warfare. But if you guys would rather just have quick combat on, I totally understand. Just because it makes it go by a bit quicker. But again, I don't mind too terribly either way. And I just wanted to watch the Dire Wolf attack animation just because it's interesting. So, over here, it looks like Castle Black is striking back. Very, very interestingly enough, Castle Black has done an expedition, or rather an excursion north of the Wall, maybe to take out a wildling city. We'll see. City-states can annex other cities in this particular series because I've disabled the ability to burn down cities. And what this means is that if a city-state annexes a territory, the city-state actually gets a bit bigger, which is kind of funny to look at. But it's a possibility. Going into the southeast, it looks like Stannis is still safe, albeit for the moment. It looks like the geography is on his side, as it's a bit hard for people to get in to attack the cities of Driftmark and Dragonstone. Right, so going to the west, it looks like the Tullys of Riverrun have a very large military that is more than likely going to be taking out, or going to be used to be taken out, the Lannisters to the south and southwest, respectively. Also, again, we see a very large military from Dorne. And we don't see too much going on over here with the with Renly Baratheon. We'll see if anything changes, of course, as time goes on. So one of the last Northern Spearmen was destroyed. And again, just as I predicted, Admiral Tully has declared war on the Lannisters. The Lannister city of Casterly Rock, the capital, and the cities of Ashmark are both in danger. I believe Ashmark is probably more than likely going to be captured by the Tullys. Very, very interesting. You know, I never really thought of the Tullys as a militaristic civilization in terms of the book and the TV show. So this is kind of a, if not anachronistic, or on lore-wise, I can't say anachronistic because that refers to strictly time. But I want to say that it's not strictly, you know, I guess lore-friendly. But who cares, again? You know, this is, again, just a kind of like a fun Let's Play series. Nothing serious is happening here. Again, we're just watching AI beat each other up, which is always fun. It's actually surprised me how much of you guys actually enjoy doing this. You know, I thought that I was one of the only people that enjoyed watching the AI beat each other up. With when I first started this channel, with one of my more popular videos, which is the Donut of Death series. But you know, more than 100,000 views later, I've come to realize that people really do like AI matches in Civilization, and it makes me happy because you know this is really, really cool. I like to do this. I like when people like to watch it, and you know, it's win-win for everybody. So I hope you guys really enjoy these series. You know, it's certainly not very oversaturated in terms of the other YouTubers doing this. I think I only know of like 2 or 3, including Michael McFreelava, who's a great influence for me. And, you know, I really respect his work as well. Very, very cool channel. I recommend you check him out. So Edmure has declared war also on the Tullys. Oh, sorry, on Renly, which is weird. Because he's currently also at war with the Lannisters. And it looks like the Lannister city of Ashmark is about to fall. Very, very good news for Riverrun. I believe the next episode will be the end of Ashmark if the Tullys can get their spearmen into range. Of course, very stupidly, though, we see that Admiral Tully has sent one unit by itself to take Casterly Rock, which is just a suicide mission, really. Very, very silly. And wars everywhere. Dorne has declared war on Renly as well. Renly is being under siege by a lot of different people now, which is interesting. Ashmark, of course, reduced to rubble. And being attacked by, of course, the Riverlands and Dorne at the same time is not conducive to state building, unfortunately. So again, looks like the Tullys over here outside Casterly Rock are about to get destroyed. No surprise there. But the city of Ashmark itself is up for grabs. Of course, assuming if the Tullys can get their spearmen up into range. As they bombard the city into ashes. Just like Poland in World War II, it is absolutely burned to the ground. And here we go, we see a little battle between Renly's troops and the Tullys' troops right outside of Riverrun. So here we go, yet another attack. This time, the Lannisters have managed to destroy one of the archers that belonged to Admiral Tully. And if you guys are to ask me, I really believe that Renly will be able to kind of withstand this assault. We will find out, though. Let's go and hit the next turn and see what happens. So once again, the North is attacking the various cities here that belong to Balon Greyjoy. Of course, no longer on the Iron Island. No longer, I guess, limited to that particular location. We said there's still a spearman that belongs to the Tullys that is not within range. Of course, within Civilization, for whatever stupid reason, you can only take a city with a melee unit. I never really understood why. But such is the case of Civ 5. So until Edmund Tully is able to get a melee unit up into Ashmark, there'll be no way to conquer the city. So maybe the Lannisters have a chance at with you know, what's the word I'm looking for? At withstanding the siege. Although I really don't think that they do. I don't think they have a chance. I think that Ashmark is about to be destroyed. We're going to find out, though. Here's the Tullys come. Yep, the Tullys are entering into the city of Ashmark now, with the last, I guess, defender of the city of Ashmark dead. Of course, next turn, I believe that the Tullys will probably take the city for themselves. We will find out. And Balon Greyjoy actually outside of the capital of Winterfell itself, although they were just cut down by a few archers. Interesting developments, everybody. Interesting developments. Let's find out what happens in this particular turn, as Ashmark, more or less, more than likely, is taken by the Tullys. Here we go. The Tullys from Riverrun have taken Ashmark, which is very fitting, as the Riverlands are all on rivers. Look at this. Every single city that belongs to Edmund Tully is situated upon a river. So it looks like they are able to reinforce each other using the river as maybe like a means of transportation. I don't really know. I'm just kind of making up some bull crap now, speaking out of my ass or whatever. But it's fun to do, you know, on occasion. Looks like we also see a unique unit that belongs to the Riverlands, belongs to Edmund Tully, the River Bannermen, which we're going to go ahead and zoom up on that here in a minute. I think this probably replaces a warrior. They look very, very cool. Again, a lot of props to this modder who put a lot of effort into making a very kind of enjoyable experience here for us. I'm going to go ahead and end the turn once again. Still some intermittent fighting outside of Ashmark. But if you're to ask me, I believe that Castle Rock is completely screwed. I mean, if we look at Castle Rock now, it's just one city. Or actually, no, they do have one other city. I'll go ahead and zoom up on that as soon as this combat phase is over. So the Tullys are still at war with Lannisters, and they're still at war with Renly Baratheon. But look at this. The city of the Crag is relatively defended. This Lannister, I guess, exclave over here. That's the southwest of the Twins. Going to the north, what has Mace been up to? Mace hasn't been up to very much. Of course, we don't see any settlers. Looks like he might be rebuilding his army. But speaking of Castle Black and the Night's Watch, they've done a very fantastic job at doing some excursions into the north. They own all of this territory, in fact, from the north of Castle Black, including these lucrative fur tiles. And I guess Craster's Keep, God, say that 4 times fast, is in the control of Castle Black as well. So Mance doesn't own everything on the north of the wall, but he's close enough as it is anyways. Let's go into the turn. We got about 1 or 2 more turns left before I end this episode. Of course, we see the north also seemingly at war with somebody. And with who, I couldn't tell you, honestly. Oh, this isn't the north. I guess it's just like a UI glitch. Because actually who's playing right now is the Tullys and also Renly Baratheon. So again, there is no move on Castle Rock to take it by the part of the Tullys, but I'm sure that it will happen eventually. Also, there are no moves on Peter Baelish to take any territory that belongs to Stannis Baratheon. And in fact, Stannis Baratheon might very well found another city very, very soon. Looks like Castle Black is still at war with Mance Rhaegar, who is just throwing his men at the castle right now in a suicide mission. No idea why. This will be the last turn of this episode. Let's go and see what happens. Again, we see some intermittent fighting outside of some of the territories owned by Renly. And we're starting to see some troops led by Peter Baelish, at least attempting to take out the second city that belongs to Stannis Baratheon. Let's go down here. So Stannis again has set up a third city called Sharp Point, And it looks like Stannis is kind of skirting around the edge of the Vale, setting up cities in very formidable and defensive locations. He's definitely playing the long con right now. Stannis knows that he's not in a very good position in terms of luxury resources. In fact, all he controls at this point would appear to be wheat, which is not even a resource. Oh, no, sorry, I misspoke. He controls some cotton as well. So again, Stannis is not in a very good position, but he is playing the long game. He knows that as soon as there's weakness in the Vale, he can maybe make a move on them. The Tullys are still at war with Renly and with the Lannisters, which may or may not be a good idea, because if the Lannisters are able to rebuild their army, and if the Tullys are preoccupied in the southeast taking out the Stormlands, the Lannisters can kind of like re-move back into the Riverlands and take back their territory of the city of Ashmark. So again, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next one, where the armies of Dorne, the hordes of Dorne, I should say, these kind of like cavalry armies / Mongolian horde type of movements, are also heading towards Renly as well. Can Renly survive? We don't know. Certainly, for predictions, I'm going to go ahead and guess that Bronzegate, the city over here, very lightly defended, is going to be taken over by Dorne. Dorne definitely in the position of being one of the strongest southern civilizations in this game. And we're seeing that Peter is also setting up another settler. Let's go ahead and just end the turn really fast. Why not just do another turn before we end the episode? I'd like to see if Peter goes ahead and sets up another city. I wouldn't blame him if he does. He definitely needs to expand his influence if he's to survive against the Tullys, who are just kind of like a runaway power at this point. Still some fighting over here. It looks like Stannis has made peace with Renly. Very good news for them. And look at this. We got some war mammoths up in the north. Very, very interesting, and also very, very cool model as well. War mammoths. I wonder if Mance also gets access to giants. I'm sure he probably does. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next one, where war continues. War never changes, in fact. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care.